Sunrise Daily, we're now switching gears to some other matter, how to achieve food security in Nigeria, and indeed, how would all the interventions of government trickle down to the rural farmers? And we have joining us to discuss this Prince Wale Oyekoya, who's the CEO of Bama Farms and former chairman Agri Sector LCCI. Thank you for joining us.
Nice for having me.
Okay, so we hear practically every other day about the interventions of the government at the state level, in particular, the Central Bank of Nigeria intervening one way or the other in the agricultural sector. But do you think these interventions are having the impact that's desired?
Well, it's very simple questions and very simple answer, which could easily be seen if you go to the market and you ask average Nigerians how much are they spending on foodstuffs. Definitely there have been so many policies, and the problem has always been the implementation of most of these policies. Yes, there have been so many robust ideas by the federal government and state government that we are giving farmers this, we are giving farmers that. But I'm here to be corrected if most of these farmers are really benefiting. So all this policy is not really trickling down, and it's not even showing on the stomach of average Nigerians. Look, for example, like we used to have what they call CACS, which is the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme, that was brought down by the last regime, during the Jonathan regime. You find out that real farmers, maybe about 10 to 15% really benefited from this CACS of 200 billion that was given out to really cushion the effect of farmers' problem. By and large, some of this money end up into the political farmers. And this present administration is trying to correct this. But in the process of correction, other problems keep on coming in through the people that are supposed to really even give information out to the farmers. Because information is key. You might be having all these robust ideas, robust policy, but if the people that are supposed to benefit are not even really getting the adequate information, it went down the drain. And the people that are not even supposed to even go near these funds will be the one enjoying the funds. That's one fund that is going around, they said, NASA. Everybody is aware of this NASA, where the credit risk scheme is going to be borne by the commercial banks and the CBN. But it's only few segments of farmers, maybe that are close to the political godfathers, are really benefiting.
Why is it that why do you think these interventions are not getting to the farmers? Yes, you said it's those who are close to the politicians,
yes,
benefiting. Why is that so? Is it a question of the farmers not uniting themselves, or a database issue?
No, it's not about database issue. If you look at the former Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Adeomo Adesina, have done a very wonderful job about these data being collected of the farmers. But are the people in the hands of their affairs really making use of these data? See, it's a game they play, and it's about time that we keep on deceiving Nigerians in the process of achieving some political points. Average Nigerians will tell you that there's a problem in this country in terms of food security. We've been saying this for the past 3 years, 4 years, but nothing is being done because the actual people that are supposed to be in the panels of some of these policy making are not even there, like the stakeholders in the agricultural sector, maybe poultry, crops, or livestock. They are not even given the opportunity to be part of this. If you look at most of the boards that have just been set up for the agriculture, you see that many people that are there does not even know much about agriculture. These are the problems that the government is creating for itself, where they are trying to satisfy the political arenas and forgetting that these people have nothing to bring on the table to really cushion the effect of the food crisis we have at hand. Go to the market today, look at what just happened recently during the Salah. You see how much some of these ram cost. And these are something that can be raised. If you look at it, most of these ram are being brought to the country from the Niger or from the Chad. This is why some of these ram are very expensive. And these are the things that can be raised in our own country. But we are not doing it. We have no business importing any food into this country. But we are doing that because of the greed of some of our leaders. Because they capture some of this money, some of these interventions, and instead of them to really spend the money here, they
So
send it out.
what you're implying that the interventions of government are not getting to even some of the major farmers
Definitely,
that are supposed
it's
to
not
be.
getting to their hands.
Why is that so?
As I said, because of the information, because of the greed of the leaders, and you have to understand that we always have emergency farmers when some of these funds really come out. And the people that are already in this business, they already know the problems, where to tackle it, but they are not getting the funds.
What happened to the cooperative societies we used to have? Those things came together to help to create something like a platform on which the local farmers, the farmers in the rural areas, could have their voices heard. Are they still there?
We do have the cooperatives.
Is the
It's
government
not
relating
functioning.
with them?
Exactly. That's a problem. The government will actually go and form cooperatives. And the way cooperatives is being formed in this country is not the way that's supposed to be done, like what they do in other countries. If you form a cooperative, you already know the problem. What is the purpose of me and you and him forming a cooperative? For us to have some solutions.
To share ideas.
To share some ideas, to extend ideas, to exchange ideas, and in the end, so that the people out there will be able to benefit from what we say that. But it's not so. We have so many cooperatives that are handicapped. The purpose of forming a cooperative may be to get grants or funds from the government. But most of the cooperatives that are being formed today, both in the state level and the federal level, are not functioning. And don't get me wrong, by the time you form these cooperatives, they are going to collect the database and they will release funds for these cooperatives. By the end of the day, the fund does not really get to the cooperative that really form, that's supposed to really help the masses. So the cooperative is there, but it's not functional. We have it in Lagos State. So what is the essence of forming a cooperative? When you have a cooperative, you are doing farming. There's no tractors for you to work with. There's no tools for you to work with. They still expect you to be using the old ways of doing things. I remember one time I just put in a plan to do something in my farm at Ekpe. You can imagine somebody in the office telling me that you cannot be approved more than 2 rooms to build farmhouse. This shows you that these people are not really connected. If you ask me to build 2 rooms and I have almost about 40 workers in my farm, how do you want me to put 40 workers in 2 rooms? And they are telling that if you do that, they're coming to demolish whatever you build there. These are threats that are not really good for the farming, that are problems that really cause the food crisis in this country.
The pictures you painted, the picture you painted so far is like everything is against the farmer. Actually, even with all the government policies they are. But then we see a proliferation of farms every day. We see more people going into farming. So how is it that there's so much against the farmer, yet there are more people going into farming?
See, federal government, they do agriculture in the spread of newspaper. When you hear the news that, oh, there's a fund coming up for agric, people will say, oh, yeah, it's the farmer that are enjoying. So a lot of people will come and join. But at the same time, people that are already there, they are not saying what the government is saying, they are backing out. I know how many farmers are folding up every day. I know ones are coming in because they are not really averse to the information that is there already. So whenever they get there, when they get their fingers burned, that's why they say, oh, we don't know this is what you people are going through. Yeah, farmers are going through a whole lot in this country. You see, when you produce that, you don't have anywhere to sell because there's no price control in the country. And you are going to compete with what is being imported to this country, where the environment where they're bringing this produce are very conducive compared to doing business in Nigeria, where we do business by hardship. Anywhere you go in Nigeria, believe me honestly, you are doing business with hardship. That is why you see people are just being hostile. That's why you see people are not really being rich. And when you do agriculture, you're supposed to, at the end of the day, you're supposed to make money because people have to eat. Look at our population that is exploding at the rate of more than 7% increase every year. But look at our production rate. It's less than 3%. And look at what agri used to be the bedrock of this country, where in the olden days where we have the granite pyramids, we have the cocoa, we have rubber. All those ones are gone. Some of these farms have been turned into private sectors, maybe into real estate. So a lot of things are really happening with farmers that if you really ask average Nigerians, average farmer, they will tell you that, no, things are not really working fine. Is it in the poultry you're going to talk about? Is it in the crops? Look at the price of maize today. Do you believe that more than half of the maize we use in this country are still being imported? So by the time you produce yours, there's no way you can compete with the importation of some of these things. The same thing with rice. We say we are self-sufficient in rice. To me, it's a total lies. Go to the market, go and find out how much they sell a bag of rice, especially in the recent salad that just went by. You're talking about 16,000, 17,000.
But then we have more, again, the question of having more rice produced in the country, but yet we're having the same price. I mean, the rice is costing about the same thing as the imported rice, if not more.
Definitely. But it's not the picture that is being, like Lagos, where they have the lake rice. I've said it several times that Lagos State government are subsidizing some of this rice to the populace. It was later on when the debt was so huge, they have to come out. Something that will cost almost about 16,000, they are giving them for 16,000. Kudos to the Lagos State government, but you cannot keep on doing business at a loss. So this is taxpayer money that used to subsidize. So why can't they give it to the private sector? We don't have land in Lagos, accepted. But what you can do, which is what Lagos State government is trying to do now, to have a rice processing plant at Imota, because you have to remember that half of the food that is being produced in this country are still coming down to Lagos, because this is where the population lies. So definitely we have to do more in terms of value chain. We don't add value to whatever we do. We just produce and half of it got perished because there's no storage facilities.